Chapter 50, Smokin' Joe. Although I knew Ali from his Olympic days and loved him very much, my favorite fighter was Smokin' Joe Frazier. Muhammad was the fastest heavyweight I ever saw. But from an old student of the sweet science, he did things that I was taught against and was fast enough to get away with the mistake. Things like pulling away from a punch. Fighters are taught to move in under the punch or move to the side. Never ever move straight back or lean back, which Ali did his whole career and was fast enough to get away with it. What I like about Joe Frazier was because he reminded me of myself. He wasn't as tall as most of his opponents, but when you met him, you knew you had a fight on your hands. No, he wasn't the greatest boxer I ever saw, but he was the greatest fighter. You could not beat the fight out of him. If his corner would have let him, he would have died in that ring rather than give up. What a lot of people don't know about Joe Frazier is that he is a caring person. I've yet to hear him brag about or mention it at all, but I personally know that Joe gave Ali money out of his pocket when Ali was barred from boxing. I also know that there wouldn't have been the first Ali-Frazier fight had it not been for Joe's manager, Yank Durham. Elijah Muhammad's son, Herbert, was managing Ali, and the powers that be would not do business with the Muslims. Yank Durham handled the business for both Ali and Frazier. My favorite Joe Frazier story happened on the night that I met him. Joe had opened a nightclub in Philly and wanted desperately to sing. An agent producer had booked him for a European tour and hired me to go along as his vocal coach. The night I met him, he was on his way to Grossinger's to watch the Ali-Oscar Bonavena fight and invited me along. His caddy was full, so I invited a friend along who also had a caddy. It was winter and snowed like hell. We stopped to get some hot coffee, and as we started to pull out, my friend's caddy would not start. Joe didn't want to leave us, so he had his driver wait as we tried and tried again to start our car. Finally, Joe gets out of his limousine and said, "Pop the hood, man." He gets under the hood, does something, and said, "Try it now." The car started right up. Who would have believed that the heavyweight champ of the world would get out of his limousine in the snow and give somebody a hand? People that he truly didn't know. That's what makes champions champions. The man that owned the Glories, a girl group Ben and I had written for, called me and asked if I would be band leader for a European tour. "Whose tour is it?" I said. "Joe Frazier and the Knockouts," he replied. "Joe Frazier, the heavyweight champ?" I asked. "That's the one," he said. Since I was a Joe Frazier fan, I immediately accepted. Joe came to New York from Philly one evening, and we met. Right away, we liked each other, and he asked me to groom him for the tour. Joe didn't have a great voice, but he could keep time, which very few athlete-turned-singers could do. We toured Europe, France, Italy, Ireland, and came back and did South America. I enjoyed every country except Ireland. Every town in Ireland looked the same to me. The police who made us get out while they searched for arms continued stopping our vehicle. When Joe got out of the car looking like a gorilla in his prime, the young soldiers couldn't mask the fear of seeing this big black man as wide as he was tall. I would see their fingers turn white, and their fingers were on the triggers of submachine guns. After a few of those episodes, I decided to stop riding in the limo with Joe, and I rode in the bus with the band. When we got to Belfast, it was even worse. We played arenas where there were 500 people inside and 2,000 outside. They were afraid to come inside for fear that someone would toss a bomb or a grenade. I couldn't wait to leave. When we returned stateside, we did a few more gigs, including a trip to Caracas, Venezuela. Although the pay was good when we worked, Joe didn't work often enough because he was still fighting.